start with getting that prop off. Just a slight tap. These lock washers, sometimes you can reuse them if they become brittle after they've been taken off a few times. I usually grab the prop like this, pull it off, keep all the hardware in my hand. And this is the thrush washer, which, ooh, you can see he's got some fishing line on there. So that's why you always have to check it. A little nudge. And try not to cut I never try to cut the fishing line if it's there. I always try to pull it out. Oh, cool, this came out real nice. Sometimes that fishing line will get stuck way in there and you don't want to cut the line because then you can't get all the pieces out. So if you can grab it in one whole spot like that, that's perfect. And give it a good cleaning. Take off the old hard grease, and we'll reapply the grease when we put it on there. The drain and fill seals are going to be on here. So it's a 10 millimeter flathead. 10 millimeter works a lot better because that flathead, if these are really sunk in tight, they're really hard to get out. But everything seems like it's smooth so far. And to drain it, I usually put them all the way down. Slide my shoebox under here. And always replace these seals, no matter what. Never reuse them. It's just a peace of mind. These seals will come in a water pump kit, which we're going to need today. And if you don't have a water pump kit, you really need to have these. So don't skip out on this. You'll have problems later if you don't. But if you look at the gear lube, it's nice and dark. You know, it's need to change. If you see a little condensation like that, that's just condensation from, you know, the sun beating on the gear case, and you see a little water. But if it comes out real milky, then you have to assess the issue of finding which seal is compromised. But we'll let that sit there. You have to let that gear lube drain for quite some time for it to all be all drained out. Oh, it's just dripping. It's almost done, but we'll let it sit for a while. When you refill the gear lube, you always want to fill the gear case when it's level. There's only one fitting Mercury has. Go right in there. It's just an attachment. I'm pretty sure Parts View sells them. Always attach the attachment on the bottom. Pretty much any gear case, any manufacturer, the lowest point, you want to fill it up from the bottom up. And you want to make sure it's level. So you don't want to have it trimmed all the way down or trimmed all the way up. You want to make sure it's level. And when you're pumping it, you don't want to pump it fast. You want to let the oil go in slow and easy so it fills up all the points inside the gear case. And for particular, these Verados, they can be quite messy. So what I usually like to do, I stuff a bunch of paper towels where the overflow is going to be, so that when it does flow out, it'll flow out and fall inside the pan instead of inside the bullet, because this is all open cavity. So we'll try to stuff it so it doesn't get all over the place. And then what I'll do is I'll shut it off. I'll let it sit for a while, make sure it flows nice, and then I'll let the gear lube settle, and then I'll hit it one more time, and then put the drain and fill screws back in. Sometimes the seals don't come off, so make sure you get them off. Sometimes they stick to the gear case, and then if you double it up, it'll soak in water into the gear case or let gear lube drain out. I'm going to top it off again. Wait for it to come out, and then when I see that hole get full with fluid, I'll shut it off. Now I'll remove all this. Clean it up. You want to really try to be as thorough as possible to get all this gear lube out of here, because you don't want it to fall inside the bullet of the gear case, because it'll get trapped in there. So usually however you do it, this is how I to get that gear lube, because it's gonna billow out a bit. So what I usually do is I'll take this coupler off and then put my thumb on it. Kind of multitask. So I got the coupler off, and what I usually do is now I'll just move my thumb, I'll remove the coupler and I'll put the thumb right over it so it doesn't make a mess and you don't lose any gear lube. So I'll move that, hold that right there, and I'll take my drill and then I'll go back to it and get a wrench on it and seat them nice and tight so they don't pop off. So when I put this nut on, I'm going to try to lay the flat surfaces of the nut along with these tabs that you got to fold up to hold the nut into place. So first good and tight. That's good right there. And then see how that's off a little bit? I'm going to make that, just give it a little bit more pressure to, nice and flat. See that? And then and flathead and just start to bend it up. There we go. See it? Now it lays flat. So when it gets in reverse, it won't spin off. So it holds it just extra a little bit.